Hi, and welcome to a wet and windy winter's day here in the studio. Say that 3 times fast. Yeah, so it's the perfect day to be making an art date for you all and creating something that's bright and cheerful. I think in my head, I've got it as bright and cheerful. This one is not one that I've scheduled. It's not one that I had planned to do, but I have just been feeling really stuck in my head and really stuck in a sense of it's almost doom, I guess. Like, it's hard to explain. I just feel like I'm a hamster on a wheel, and I am literally just spinning the wheels. And I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere. And I always feel like this around this time of year, whether it's the change of the season, because I love winter. So it's not that I don't like winter, but it's, maybe it is just that change of season. It just feels really, I just feel really frustrated, and I just feel really stuck in my head. And I pulled one of my cards this morning, and it was telling me to basically stop seeing the trees, but to see the forest. And I can't think of what the actual proverb is, that, the forest you can't see the forest from the trees. Basically, that's how I feel. I feel like I am just seeing the trees in front of me and keep moving through all these trees, and there's more trees and more trees, but I cannot see the overall forest and the overall picture. So anyway, this is, I decided I wanted to make myself some little affirmation cards to cheer me up and to also remind me that that there is a forest, and it's not just tree after tree. So I have got these ones, these little cards that I have, little affirmations, sort of broken them up into wealth and creativity and intuition and abundance and love and, all this kind of stuff, self-love, relationships, that kind of thing. So, but, and these are really cute. I really love them, but I really want something a bit brighter, a bit more cheerful, and maybe something a bit more artistic. You can see I'm not using my normal journal that I usually use for art dates, mainly because I wanted to be able to rip the page out, and I don't like ripping pages out of my journals. Actually, I hate it, so don't do it. So this is just an A3 sketchbook that I've picked up from either the Reject Shop or Silly Solis or a $2 shop or something like that. And I wanted an A3 size because I want to make maybe 3 cards up. 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. So that'll give me 12 cards in theory. Yeah, but I don't use these even as a sketchbook in the studio. I use these to plan my business. I love being able to just write all over the page and that kind of thing. So I don't use these for anything other than sort of planning. But I thought today might be a great one to use for this because it's accessible. It's A3, which gives us quite a few cards, and we'll see how it holds up. So what else I'm going to do is I really want my page to have a back. I want all the cards to have the same backing. So kind of like playing cards or an oracle card or kind of thing. So I was looking through my book, my papers book, and I think I'm just going to go with this geometric pattern. I'm going to need 2 pages because one won't be enough, and I'm hoping that I should be able to be clever and link it up so it's like a seamless match, or just do it cheat and just do it so that one card is just one sheet. Anyway, this is the sheet I've decided to use. I like that it's just a recurring pattern. You can leave it blank or book pages. Just rip out some book pages and use that. The other thing is I saw this page, and even I was flicking through just then, See, that would be a pretty one too, but I would probably keep that for something else. I'm unlikely to use this in much, but I thought I could cut out these butterfly elements to use. So for the front, we're just going to play a little bit, but I also have papers, of course, and this box where I have all these leftover papers. You've seen this box in art dates before, but in this case I might actually be sort of adding butterflies, and so using actual elements from it. So butterflies, I've got lots of butterflies, lots of wings. Maybe this will be the wing. Oh, I've got these old, that would be quite cool too. I've got these old feathers that I've done, and we might make feathers like this in another class, and in fact we were supposed to, but I really feel like today I needed to make something that was inspiring and was more kindness and less judgment. Yeah, so there's lots of stuff in here that I've got little quotes. What else I got? Oh, this calligraphy page that I did when I was in year 12 at high school, which I rip up and use in artworks. Got little vinyl cogs, airmail. So there's lots of little bits and pieces that I would never traditionally use in my artwork. So there's all business cards, you know, oh, like angels, like, so this kind of stuff. These are things that I would never actually use in my artwork, but they're things that I've collected because they obviously spoke to me about something, you know. A little reindeer. It's not really Christmassy though. Anyway, I'll go through this and see what appeals and I can use. So yeah, so I've got little quotes and stuff, but I'm not going to use quotes from this box because I have this box which is full of little quotes and little, so this is just I've just cut up a page of words, and you could do, I'll include a oh, that's a good one. I will include a sheet of words that you can just cut up, but again, just use book page, cut up. These are good ones. Born sensitive, yeah, that's me. So these are just words that I've cut up from different sheets of things that I've paper that I have printed off. That's it. And I like that you can just make little sentences, like just going through it, like empathy abounds in sparkling green. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. And you can just looking within her simmery. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that I'm getting distracted. That's the problem. I get distracted and inspired, and this is how my brain works. So I will include a PDF with a heap of words that you can cut out and you can use, or you can cut a book page from a book that you are using, and you can do either, or you can just write the word or your affirmation on it. I'm definitely going to use empathy abounds. I think it's really appropriate that came out today. Let's put that there. Yeah, so we're just going to get in here and have a little bit of play, see how this works out, and have a chat, catch up, see how everyone's going on. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is do the background, the back page, and I'm just going to match that pattern up here. I'm going to be a little lazy. Lazy is such a horrible word, but I am going to be lazy. Find one of my big brushes. All right, so I'm just going to get my big paint brushes, except I think these are giving up the ghost. So these are just, again, from the $2 shop. I don't spend a lot of money on those brushes. They're brushes that I use to do for glue or gesso or other things, that not acrylic paint or watercolor. This one I think we'll do. Yeah, so they don't get washed out properly, and they do in the end go to paintbrush heaven. The great artist paintbrush heaven in the sky. I bet there's a lot. Anyway, I'm babbling. Okay, I'm going to be quite liberal with my glue. Because we're going to be cutting it up, I don't want there to be really any spots that are lifting up once I've cut it. And although I'm not going to be like using these as like a deck of cards, I still want to be able to, you know, maybe give them a shuffle, a little bit of a shuffle. Okay, I'm not going to use my card. I'm going to use my card to roll it down. I actually have this brayer, which you can actually pick up from Bunnings brayers like this, just to push it down onto the page. I can see that it's lifting up here, here already. I got this brayer at an art shop, and I probably spent 5 times more on it than I would have if I bought it from the hardware shop, which I found very irritating when I found out, because this is when I was first starting out, and I really didn't have any money to spend on like extravagant supplies, but I really wanted a brayer. And you know, honestly, I trashed my brayer. See, it's got gesso and all kinds of stuff all over it. And actually, I might use the brayer a bit today, use something a bit different. Yeah, so I didn't clean it off. When I used it, I just let it dry. And so now it's not very smooth. It's got textures on it and that kind of stuff. I'm sure I could probably get a replacement thing for it, but I don't use it enough to worry about that kind of thing. Right, the second sheet. And some dog hair or cat hair, not sure which. I try and keep the animals out of the studio, but Luna likes coming in and sitting at the window and trying to chase lizards through the window. Baxter just likes coming in to see what's happening. Okay, so done a bit extra there. Well, I think that's pretty close. And I don't really want to spend a lot of time doing it. So that will do us, I think. In an ideal situation, if I was going to do this as maybe a class or do this as something I would perhaps sell, I would actually probably try and find an A3 piece of cardstock and use it. Oops. Cool. Okay, so I just need to grab my big scissors. And I'm just going to trim up this side. I'm not going to do it super neat. I just want to trim it up so it's not another thing that I'm having to worry about as I'm flicking things around. Now, just so you can see it's getting a little bit crinkly, and that is just because of the paper's not super thick normally. So I'm just going to roller it out again. And this may not work. I don't know. I might have had to have used a different one of like the hot press watercolor papers or something, but I kind of feel like this should be able to do this. Okay, I'm just going to let this dry for a little bit. Hopefully not too long, considering it's such a wet day. I might even put some weight on it so that it dries flat. Anyway, I'll be back. Right, so it's not 100% dry, but if you've watched my art dates before, you'll know I'm just far too impatient to wait for things to fully dry. I also feel like this could be one of these, the challenges with this art date is getting things to dry, especially because it is winter and I can feel in the air it's quite damp. So it's going to be hard to dry things anyway. And I haven't got the heater on at the moment just because it's so loud and rattly that it would, you know, the sound quality would make it be affected. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep going with it. So my next intention is to just create a smushy art page with bright colored paint. So I've got let's see, and some pastels as well. So I've got my pastel pink. I'm kind of tossing up between whether it's going to be super bright, so like lots and lots of bright colors, or just splashes of bright, because to be honest, I think I'm more a splashes of bright person. I'm not a all in all big bright person. So I've got my, but I do have my neon pink, which I love. So we might throw in some sand color as well, just to tone it down a little bit. We've got blue, pink, maybe some green. And because it is me, there has to be a little bit of dark as well. It's always a bit of dark, a bit of bright. So what I'm going to do first is maybe put on some, just some papers. Not a lot. I just want to, just a few little bits of papers around, just to give it some texture. I love seeing bits poked through the final painting. I love using all the things I've collected over the years in my artwork. I love seeing my kids' work in there. So just me, or do all teachers have the same handwriting? Because that's exactly like my mum's handwriting. So not a lot, just a few little bits that I'm just going to spread around. And I'll get out my glue again. Use a different brush this time because the other one is still soaking. I'm not caring that I'm getting glue on the page, and it'll be covered up at some point. And that's what I actually love about this kind of style of mixed media, is that it's messy and fun, and it doesn't matter. You don't have to be precise about it. I love that that's just a bonus of it. Okay, so this is kind of like the other month where we did the butterfly, and we turned it over and we glued down bits of paper, and we didn't really think about where it was going. We just knew it was going somewhere on the page. And so this will be the same. So I don't know if this is going to be on a full card or a half card or on 3 different cards. I'm just playing. There's no real pattern to this. You can be more precise about it if that's your style, but I would suggest really just trying to let go and try and let go, because I know how hard that can be. Yeah, and just get lost in the moment. So I've got, and the other thing I've just thought of that I have is some tissue paper. So, and tissue paper gives really beautiful, especially if you buy clear tissue paper. I'll show you what I mean. Hang on a sec. So this tissue paper, this is from a package I got. This tissue paper, I think I bought it in Scotland. It has come all the way around the world with me. And then I've got actually some dress patterns, which is really cool to use in this kind of thing as well. But if you buy tissue paper with a pattern on it, with a sort of a whitish background, the cool thing is, I'll show you, is that it kind of fades in. The white fades into your background, and then when you go over the top, all you see is the pattern. It's very, very cool. Napkins do this too. I don't know if you've been haunting TikTok or YouTube or whatever tutorials, mixed media tutorials. Lots of people tend to use napkins and do really beautiful decoupage. I feel like today is going to be one of these days where it just, everything goes wrong. It feels like that's what the morning's been like. It just feels like that. So I've just put that down. I was just going into patterns, the pattern thing, when I found this little quote that I've written down to myself: do epic stuff. So I've got, yeah, little quotes everywhere. Okay, so I don't, there we go. I don't want to use a lot. I'm not using a lot. I just want to use some bits. So these patterns you can pick up from the charity shops. They're great. Even church sales. I remember buying sheet music from a church sale, and the lady there was just so excited that I was buying like organ music, and she couldn't wait to, and she's like, oh, it's so exciting to see such a young person. I mean, I was 40, over 40 at the time, young person playing the organ still. And I just smiled and said, yes, my nan taught me to play. And that's all I said, because my nan did teach me how to play. I just didn't want to break this little woman's heart by telling her that I was going to be taking this sheet music home and ripping it up and using it in artworks. And you know, she probably wouldn't have cared, but I just thought, oh, she was just so excited that someone was coming and buying sheet music to be played on the organ, you know. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not going to be playing this on the organ. Even though my nan did teach me how to play, it has been probably over 40 years since I have played, and yeah, it will be ripped up and used in artwork. So I don't know if I finished the thought, but yes, everything seems to be going wrong today. It's been one of those days, and yeah, I just had my camera was full. I had to download it. Of course it was full, because why would anything be easy today? Another reason why I feel the need to make some affirmation cards. So yeah, they can overlap. You don't have to fill the whole page. I'm not going to. That's me, I think, done. And again, we're gonna have to wait for it to dry. Had the heater on for a little bit to help dry it. It's not super dry. It's drier. It's drier. Than what it was. I've made some soup. I've done some paperwork. It is just this is what happens in winter, and maybe I need to remember that for when I'm doing art dates, that in winter it would be helpful to be a bit more just a bit more patient. We'll plan not to do quite so much on the page. So I've got my gesso. I'm going to use a little bit of it, and because I have my brayer out, I'm going to use my brayer to smush some paint around, but you can use your hands, or you can get a card and use a card, whatever you've got floating around. That's too big. I swear today is like the comedy of errors day. And of course it's been quiet all morning, and now we're approaching lunchtime, so people will be coming home from work for lunch. There's a plane. Okay, so we're just building layers. So just put some of this gesso around. Move my teacup because I don't want to put my paintbrush in there. And that happens more than you think. And might just use the brayer, but again, you can smush. Now, because my brayer is has layers and layers of paint and gesso on it from years of not cleaning it properly, well, not realizing I had to clean it properly to start off with, really. Mine will have a texture to it, which I don't mind so much, but if I wanted a smooth finish, I would be using a card to smush some paint around. Now, because it is also still damp, you can see it sort of lifting up edges of my papers that I put down. So when you do this art date, do it in a warm room or be patient like me. Okay, and you can sort of see, because it is the cheaper paper, it's lifting up. Okay, so let's put some paint out. I'm not overthinking this too much, but I think I will use my card to smush this one rather than the brayer. Ooh, that's probably a lot there. Again, there's people blowing leaves because they do it. Because now's the time to do it. Okay, let's just do this first. So you can see the difference between the brayer And the card, I quite like both effects, but I like sort of like the big chunks of paint being spread around. I don't think I want all that down there. There's a lot of paint, a lot of green paint there. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's coming together yet, but it will. It will. And you can even get your finger in there and just so that it smooshes in together, just a little bit more, less, what's the word? So it's more blended when I use my finger rather than quite angular and abrupt. Okay, now, where am I going now? Okay, so I might get this little bit of pink. And maybe a little bit of this blue. I don't like using a lot of different colors. I like keeping the palette. So this is it's probably got more than I would normally put in a background. Colors wise, but we'll see. It's all about playing and smooshing, and actually this is one of my favorite things to do, is just to get the paint and to smush it around, mix it in. I like the muted sort of palette that it gives. Somewhat there, so let's move it. Hopefully the leaf blower won't be quite so irritating on the recording, because it's really irritating me. I'm very conscious of it. I wouldn't normally hear it, but I normally wear headphones or listen to loud music or something while I'm painting. So, but I tried wearing headphones to when I first started doing these art dates, just to give me some background noise. It didn't work because I kept forgetting what I was saying because I was listening to the music. So we won't do that anymore. Okay, it's not quite there yet, but it's looking there. It's looking better. Let's try some unbleached titanium. Now, I haven't gone in with the dark yet, because I really want to get sort of like a nice pastel-y type background first before I go in with a darker color. Because I have found times when I've gone in with I don't ever use black, but Payne's Grey is my favorite. When I go in with the Payne's Grey, it actually dominates if I do that first. And you don't end up with this nice little pastel-y type feel. I always said I was going for bright at the beginning, but I do tend to go back to these kind of colours. But we can come back in with the blue. Just in spots where I already have blue. I'm not going to add any more blue to it. But now we're sort of getting layers up, we can start smushing the, the word I use. And blending. So and this is where being winter is helpful, because in summer you can't really do this without everything drying really quickly. You have to work super fast. There's no real room for playing and seeing what works and what doesn't. And whereas winter, because because it takes so long to dry, this is still, you can still move paint around the around it and blend it. So if you ever want to see the difference between creating sort of smushy stuff, smushing paint, using that technique in winter and summer, definitely do an experiment and see. Okay, we're getting there. So we can't really see what we put underneath the papers that we put down, except that it's given us some nice sort of textures. And also you can see some of the patterns from the tissue paper coming through. But we can't really see anything from the workbook that I used. And that's okay. I don't mind. The intent is never to have it coming through intentionally. I love that it just sort of comes through naturally, and then it will be something that's quite meaningful to the painting, and I really enjoy that. Now I've just realized that I have to go right to the edges. I'd forgotten, because we were going to be cutting this to make cards. So in the places where I've gone, but I probably will come back in with the black, or the Payne's grey even, just to tighten it up. Okay, right, so let's get this one in here. Now I'm going to put this straight on my finger. And I'm probably going to use my ink pad to go around the edges of my cards to give them sort of a distressed look as well. But I really don't want, lots of black around the borders. Black, I keep saying black, it's paint spray. So I'm kind of haven't been thinking of this as a, I haven't been thinking of this as what would happen, what will be the final product. I've been thinking of this as a, thinking of this as like this is the full piece, but it's not the full piece. It's part of the piece. I'm not quite sure if that makes sense. Again, I'm looking at trees and not thinking about the big forest. Gosh, that card was really true today. probably will need to come back in. So yeah, so although I'm going around very much like a border, I really need to stop. It's hard sometimes too. You're used to working in certain ways, and you know, if I'm doing a canvas, this is how I would start the canvas. So it's hard to sort of come out of that mindset and change it up a bit and try something, not try something new, but yes, try something new. Yeah, think of it in a different way. And the thing that I'm not sort of loving at the moment is that it hasn't quite blended in as well as I'd hoped. But let's try some green. Again, just putting a bit on my finger. Not so much green over this side. It's only over here. Do a bit there. Okay. And I also need to remember, I'm not necessarily, although I'm working on this, let's just pull that off. Working on this on a landscape perspective at the moment, it won't be a landscape painting. I'm really having trouble with my words today. I apologize. It's just, I think it is just that time of year. I'm tired. I'm stuck in my head. It's starting to get cold. It's crazy busy time for kids at school. We've just had the Stepfords, and we've got a Western dance carnival today. So there's lots going on. School excursions. So outside of the studio even, it is really, really busy. And I've got 3 possibly 3, definitely 2. Hopefully I get off the wait list for handmade. Possibly 3 markets this month, which is great because, you know, I need to get out there and see see people. I need to go and see, I need to see people. It's really hard as an artist working in this bubble that we are in. And I'll create something, I go, oh, this really resonates with me, and then it's crickets. And then I'll create something, I go, oh, that was not, you know, not my finest work. I don't love it. Something about it has made me go, not today. I don't like it today, kind of thing. And people love it. I don't know. Sometimes I just can't pick it. And then there's times when, like, my angels and all that kind of thing, that I go, oh, I know this is going to resonate with someone really quickly. And usually they do. Now, thinking about this, I need to let this dry again. But I'm thinking that what would make this even better is that even if I do, maybe I'll do 2 or 3 different cards today. But I feel like it could be a nice little morning practice too, for 5 minutes, probably not 5 minutes, maybe for 20 minutes to decorate a new card. So I'll show you I'll make maybe 4 cards during this art day. And then I will do a little morning practice with it, I think, for the rest of them, and just see how that sort of resonates. Because I'm feeling right now that if I was to do, if we say there's 3 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 15 cards. If I was to do 15 cards in an art date, it'll take as long as it takes. It could take 2 hours, it could take 5 hours, it could take whatever. So I'm going to just decorate 3 or 4 once we've cut it, and we will and I think, yeah, I'm just going to do a little morning practice with it, and each day create a new little oracle, little affirmation card for me. And in the next art day, I'll share it with you and I'll show you what I did. So it's not going to be a huge long video because who has time for that? Yeah, but I think it'll be fun. and I'm excited to maybe start a new morning practice again, because I have a couple, but I don't feel like they I feel like there's always room to add some more, but also I feel like this might be a really nice one just to be intentional about art and being intentional about my being a bit more gentle and kinder to myself. So well, yeah, we need to let this dry. I'll be back. Okay, so I've had the heater on, so this is fairly dry. It's still not 100% dry, you can tell because it's sort of bendy. It will dry over the coming days, but it's dry enough to work on, so we're going to get into it. Now, I was originally thinking of doing sort of three biggish cards on per 3x4, I think, so that would have given us 12 cards. But I was sitting here and this little credit card was sitting there, and I'm like, actually I could do this in I could do some more. I could have more cards. So I think I'll just, this is the problem I have is that I'm dyslexic, and I find this part incredibly hard to sort of get my head around, because I find it really hard to do measurements, and this will either work really well or it won't work at all. So okay, if we say that that's the end, okay, and I think if I just do, am I going to be able to see that mark there? And so that's not enough for a whole card, but I can then do a couple down here as well, so they'll give me more. So then we go up. Anyway, I'll fast forward this part because this could take me a while to figure out. But, yeah. Right. So now I'm just going to lightly draw the lines on my paper. I am taking care not to go draw my lines in this space here across, because remember, this is not wide enough. It's not wide enough for a whole card space, so we're going to utilize it going this way instead. So I'm going to try and be careful to remember not go past this line. You can see that I went a bit wild here on this one. I don't think this is going to rub out, which is a bit irritating. It's rubbing out a little bit. There'll be an indent in it because of it's not fully dry. But that's okay. I'll just decorate around that and put some borders on it or something like that. Okay, so I'm just going to do So now we're going to cut this out. I just had to check. Some of them were a bit bigger, which was really weird. And then I couldn't find my card because it kind of blends in. But anyway, so now we have our cards. And despite my best intentions, there are some cards that haven't glued down. So I'm just going to go through them and use my glue stick to do it. That's probably got to do with the fact that I didn't let the glue dry long enough before I started working on it, or perhaps didn't use enough glue, which is quite possible too. I often underestimate how much glue I need. I think they're okay. It was mainly on the ends, I think, where it didn't really take. But this is all part of the process. No one, it's got barely any on it. I don't know what happened there. Not enough glue, but I thought I would have sworn I used enough, but obviously not, because it's quite a lot that I'm actually having to re-glue. We have our cards. Now, I like that we've done them smaller. I like they sort of sit in my hands quite nicely, whereas the bigger ones perhaps wouldn't. I like that they're all very individual, yet there's a similarity between them all. It's cool. I like that you can sort of see the paper peeking through. I like that they're bright without being super bright. And I also love that on the back there's all the same pattern. Okay. And actually what you could do is poke a hole through them, hole punch a hole, and use like a little ring thing to keep them together like this, which I think I might do. Okay, so I'm going to, and they shuffle quite well if you want to shuffle. So like I said, I'm not going to decorate all of them in this video, because I want to actually incorporate this into a morning practice where I decorate one each day and sort of have a reflection on how I'm feeling and that kind of stuff. But I'm going to do a couple, and that one needs a bit more glue. I think we'll find. I shouldn't put my glue away. There'll be a few more. Right, so I'm going to pick random ones. Close my eyes, close my eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'll put these ones. I'll just put it, that's not big enough. I'll just put it right up there for tomorrow. Okay, so so first of all, I'm going to get out my distress ink that if you've done this before, you will have seen me use it a lot. This one I'm going to go with a vintage photo fill. Remember, these are not water soluble, so they will bleed if you put water on top of them. But I don't see that we're going to be putting water or glue or anything wet on these. But you may glue them in a book or something, maybe. And I'm not too, usually if I'm using this, I'm going around a shape and I don't want there to be quite so much distress. But this time I'm actually going for that look where I've got the distress stain look coming across. Now I've been thinking about how I'm going to decorate these. And I still haven't come up with 100% of a plan that I'm really happy with. I want to use my collage because I love doing that. I want to use perhaps some stamps. Is that all of them? I've done them all. Okay, I'll just go. I want to do my use stamping. I've got some, not a lot of stamps, but I've got some stamps. You can go around and do the back. Maybe do this part a little bit more. I was going to say carefully. Maybe I'll wait for that to dry. Okay, so that's still quite wet. You can see the shimmer on that. So that's still quite wet. And actually, ooh, I do, this is optional. And I should have thought of this before. I have a corner stamper, cutter. So completely optional, or if you, obviously if not everyone has these, I've got them for packaging, but you could just corner them with some scissors, or even nail clippers might work if you had a sharp pair. I don't know, it's just a thought I had just then. If you use nail clippers, let me know if they worked for you. That would be kind of cool to know. Okay, so yes, I've just cornered them. And I'll just go around the corners again. Yeah, and again, optional. You can decorate these however you want. And I've been thinking about how I want to decorate them. I'm not sure. I think most of them, it'll come down to how I feel on that day. But I do know I want to have a quote like this from my tin. And generally speaking, when I do sort of intuitive work like that, I will pick out the words that I need to hear, which is kind of cool. Okay, so it's still wet. Yeah. Yeah, it is incredible how 2 months ago I could get nothing nothing would stay wet enough for me to work, and then now I can't keep anything to dry. So it's just crazy. And I wish these were a little bit smaller because they would be quite cool. And I think today I am going to go with so some gel pens and my micro uniball pen, and I have some Posca pens, which I may do. I kind of like the idea of the background sort of being quite vibrant and everything else being kind of muted. We'll see. Okay, I think before I and I think it'll change. I was thinking, are they going to be I am statements, or are they just going to be affirmations, and I think they're going to be a mixture of both. So I may do I am statements. Oh, my children keep stealing my glue sticks. Yeah, anyway, let's just see. Let me get my tin. So if you've got you can use your own quotes if you want, or your own affirmations if you want. Like these ones, I've just collection of affirmations over the years. You know, I promise to keep going to my dreams manifest. What people do with my art is none of my business. It's safe for both my light and dark to be seen. So there's those kind of affirmations, or so you could write your own, or you could do quotes. Okay, let's see what I've got. There's a gift. I like that they're all different. Maybe not sunbeam. It's not very sunbeaming. Texts and capitals, and some are typewritten, some are stickers, some are in capitals. Yummy, no, I don't. They could be just little stories too, little poems. Like She Fortune. They don't need to have sensible meanings. Yes, every time I have a piece of paper that I might have printed off or something like that, I will just cut it up and stick it into my tin. So I've got She Fortune blooming. I think empathy abounds. Contemplation. So I like blooming. I like the idea of being in my time of blooming. So in her time of blooming. I love Kitten's purr, but I don't think that's today. Oh, she curled into contemplation. I like that. She Fortune. As a girl craves She Fortune. I feel like that is me. And they're not really affirmations though. It's just like, I guess, how I'm feeling. Empathy abounds. Almost needs an is a gift given. Yeah, okay. So maybe I have, and sometimes I might have to write a bit too, unless I can find an is. Okay, so I need to write, do a little one with is. I'm not going to be able to find it. And it'd be nice to have it all the same, but it's fine. There's no is in here, is there? So these are the ones we've got. And okay, so I've glued down my my words, and now I'm just going to think about what that word means to me, and just sort of decorate around it. Let's see, I think I might start off with a bit of a border. Each card can have the same border. If you're going to do a border like me, I said mum. Or if you want each one to be different, that would be kind of cool too. You don't have to have a border on any of them if you don't want to. I just thought it would be a bit different. And actually, what else it could be quite cool is if I do some scribble journaling on it. So I could write, so the girl craves sheer fortune. I could just write, money flows to me and abundantly. And you can't actually see what that is, but you know what that is. And I can just do another one. Let's see. Let's see. I'm really having a hard time thinking today. Maybe it just needs one. It's easy, just needs one. I'm going to use just a pen. That must be running out. No, just doesn't like working. If you are using a black Uniball pen, this one, they're great. They're waterproof once they're dry, but they have to dry. They won't. They definitely won't be waterproof until they've dried. There's been many times where I've mucked up because I've forgotten that they don't dry very quickly, and actually even still. Even now, that ink is not, the ink is not dry either. I just want to draw a thin box around this, just to give it a bit of, so it'll pop a little bit off the page. And you can spend as much time as you want decorating these if you want to, or if it's just a really quick exercise, that's fine too. Do what works for you, as always. Let's see what else I've got. I mean, I could have actually had that under one of these. Maybe. Maybe. I feel like that one can go there. So let's do, okay, let's do that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move around them a bit and just the butterflies, I'm quite liking the butterflies, but I feel like I should have thought about this a bit more before I did that. But I could still do that. That would be okay. That would be quite cool. All right, let me just do a little border. if you don't have stickers, you can you could like print out pictures. That would be quite cool, and use them. Oops, that's not quite straight. I wanted that straight on the border. There, straightish on the border. Terrible. This stuff always tricks me up. Oh, well, probably also my line's not straight either. So, and it may be in the future I do the decor, put the butterfly and stuff on first, and then go, then put the words on it afterwards. Okay, so I don't know that I'm going to put much more on these. Oh, I did see a star somewhere. I don't know where it's gone. Where else have I got? So you could do something like that over the top, and then cover it up. Maybe cover a little bit gesso maybe over the top. There's so much you could do. But I really like this one. Actually, this one's standing out as my favourite so far. Let's maybe put some gold. Except I don't have ours. I'm going to do school pickup. I really like these. Anyway, you can put yes, I'm going to put a little hole in the corner, and I'm going to ring bind them together, and they don't have to be complicated. That's what I need to remember. They don't have to be complicated. They can be just really simple, and the message can just shine through when you pick it. I'm just writing a little bit there. Empathy. Maybe I'll put something about being open-hearted. I like that. So I just said open-hearted invites in love and gratitude. I don't think that needs anything. I like the black there. She stands tall. Her shadow's kind of in her tide blooming. I feel like I need to do just a little. Feels like it needs a little flower, but I like it. It's simple. Maybe I'll just leave it. I need to leave things because and see, I shouldn't have outlined that hard because I liked that it was white. Yeah, I think I can come back and add to if I want to, but for now I think I'm just gonna call this done, and I'm excited by it, really excited by it. I'm excited about finishing off the rest of these in a morning practice. I mean, I don't think it will take long. I don't think it should be taking long. I think it should take maybe maybe 10 minutes a card. I think it should be simple, don't overthink it. I think it should be something fun to do. So I really love how these have turned out. They're simple, very simple, very we'll just fix this up while we're talking. I really love how these have turned out. They're really simple, even though I've kind of totally veered off track and changed my mind several times as to how they were going to look, or what size they were going to be, or what I was going to include on the actual cards. I'm actually really happy with how easy and pretty they look. And I think less is more. I think I need to keep that. I need to keep reminding myself that less is more. You don't need to make it overcomplicated, that these can be really simple. And I've got about 20 other cards that I can do on a daily basis or a weekly basis, and just at random, like, just pick a nice little sentence, a little affirmation, a little reminder of what I need to hear, It's still not dry. It's been been at least an hour now since I've done that. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this all turned out, and I can't wait to see how it unfolds, and I can't wait to see how yours looked, whether you went for a different color palette or whether you went for really intricate designed cards, or just really simple, maybe just wrote a word on each one. Yeah, share your cards with me. I look forward to it. And until next month, have fun, enjoy playing and creating and arting.